Here's the thing about Freed. The rule of thumb is that he'll need an extra 3 or 4 starts at the beginning of whatever. Whenever he gets disrupted, he needs, like, a little bit longer to find that groove. And he did that at the beginning of the year, as he does every year, but then when he came back from injury, he needed 3, 4 starts to find his groove. So that's why the ERA is 3.25 and 1.16 WHIP. It's because he had 2 of those as
Yeah.
opposed to 1. But really, the main difference this year, Max Fried versus previous seasons, is that the changeup that he added disappeared on him. And as a lefty right now, what do you know? Haha, it's a changeup
Looking
league
away
for
for something.
lefties. He has to get that
Boy,
pitch back. I
nearly
think that Fried
identical
will.
spot.
I
He
think
is
it
one of
was
the
too
best
good of an offering
fielding
for him. I think it's something
shortstops
that
in
just
the
kind of
game,
didn't,
Marcia.
we couldn't
Showed you
find it
why.
quite. And I'm going to believe that he will have it for
Contact for
2025.
three.
Overall, Max Fried has been, as far as production goes, the safest of pitchers. It's kind of bonkers to me how consistent this man has been. We have 225 ERA, 304, 248, 255, 325. Then we have whips of 109, 109, 101, 113, 116. So 325, 116 is the down year, the bad year for Max Fried when he had
Baird
injury.
nearly 30
And he
points better
also
than
didn't
Garrett
have a pitch that he
Crochet
was supposed to
of the
have.
White Sox.
To me, this
And it
is
just
just
got a bit better.
bankable awesomeness.
Mhm.
And it's not your 30% strikeout rate.
And now
No,
here is
he is going
Bobby
to have a
Witt
little bit higher
Jr.,
win
who has the
potential.
best.
He is an efficient pitcher. He generally is someone that is capable of having a walk rate that's under 8%. And by the way, this was 8%. Previous years was 6% and 4.4% and 6%, right? This was an atypical season. And you also have generally good hip suppression. It's going to be underneath 8 hip per 9 likely. So that means the whips are going to be down. That means he's going to be able to go to 7 innings often. Max Fried is just an all around quality pitcher. And I think if you draft him, you're going to be really happy with it. I think we're getting also to that point of the studs where there are more questions about them.
Sure.
And yes, you are still going to consider them aces for your team, but they aren't as just, oh no, okay, I feel like this is that guy. I'm just going to completely set it. I'm not going to think about this for another 2 seconds. They should be, but I can see how it doesn't quite work. And Freed is very much like, no, you're not going to draft Freed and drop him this year. I mean, let's be
Yes.
honest. You're not.
Yeah.
And that's a huge, huge difference.
I have Fried at 17, and that is the second to last pitcher in my tier of this is a fantasy ace, or this
Mm,
could be a fantasy ace. And so I kind of agree with you on that, that like he feels like an ace. He feels like maybe one of the lower forms of the aces. But I've always thought that he's a pretty solid overall pitcher. And yeah, maybe you swing for a little bit more strikeout upside with one of the next pitchers that you draft, but you're not getting no strikeouts.
Waits the
And you're
1-2.
not getting like there's nothing
And a
bad
fastball.
happening here. There's nothing you have to
Past
cover
him.
up from. I was big on Freed coming into this year. And I agree with you. Like the injuries influence the stats a little bit, but barring, provided he comes into the season fully healthy, I'm big on Max Fried again next year.